just to share the journey that DHL took with vision picking solution, and I'll be recapping some of that today as well, and then move into some of the other AR, VR applications that we've adopted since then or would like to adopt, and then close off with some of our learnings and I guess challenges that we face that we hope to see it either be addressed or overcome in the near future. This is kind of awkward. I never really had to hold a mic to present before, so if you see me time to time like letting my arm go, I apologize, but we'll give this a shot. So before we start, just a quick intro about myself and the company that I work for. I am part of our solutions design group at DHL Supply Chain division. Basically, we are the engineering support for the organization, and we develop supply chain solutions for our customers. And we have a global brand, and we're all under the brand of DPDHL, or Deutsches Post DHL, where it's made up of 5 divisions. First, we have the Post and Parcel, which is a German post office that delivers mail and parcel in Germany. We have the e-commerce division, where we have really invested to build the infrastructure and get the skill set needed to provide specialized e-commerce solutions to our customers. We also have Express that does international parcel and courier delivery services, as well as global forwarding and freight, where we deal with larger shipments like air freights and ocean containers. And last but not least, supply chain division that I'm part of, where we provide, again, contract logistics for warehousing and transportation solutions. Just within supply chain division, we have about 150,000 associates across 1,400 sites globally, where 400 to 500 of those are located in our North American division or region that I'm part of. And really, North America is really just US and Canada for us. Mexico, we group them under our Latin American region for logical reasons like language, market, and other things like that. So DPDHL have really recognized the importance of fostering innovation to not only succeed, but to stay relevant and to compete in our industry. So one of the groups that we have invested in is our trend research group. And that was really to stay on top of the market, learning what's going on. And one of the things that that group does is to regularly update this trend radar. So they have a lot of topics out there. Most of my time these days actually are focused into the robotics, drones, exoskeleton, and those type. But augmented reality is definitely something that we recognize is very much relevant to us now in our industry today. And over the last couple of years, my colleagues and I have been part of this event to come and speak to you about the journey we've taken with augmented reality, where vision picking was the first adoption to that. So we were here when we first launched our proof of concept, and then gave you the results of that. And then next year we came back to say, it was a favorable results out of the POC that we've created a global pilot program where we rolled it out to multiple countries and did a lot of testing there. And after getting a lot of favorable results, last year we were here to tell you that vision picking is officially now a productized solution for us where we can provide it to our customers. So just to recap, I have a short video here, so I'll let this play and then we'll get right back to it. So
now the order picker can easily log in and begin picking by scanning the next available trolley. Using UbiMax's innovative user interface, task information is displayed clearly in front of his eyes. The trolley is also displayed graphically, so that the picker sees instantly what needs to go where. This could provide a much faster, more accurate, and user-friendly approach to order picking compared to standard paper pick lists and handheld scanners. Our first pilot proved a significant performance increase due to time efficiency and error reduction. It also received high scores from the pickers regarding user acceptance and usability.
So just to really recap what was kind of said on that video, vision picking was our kind of taking our first half step into augmented reality. As you know, it's not true augmentation. It's really just displaying some information in the field of vision of all the information that our associates would need to complete their task. So which location to go to, what item to pick, how many of these items to pick, as well as which order that item needs to be associated with. So the cart schematic that they would see on the screen or display would be mirroring what it actually looks like on the physical pick cart that they're working with. So hopefully it kind of shows on this slide where it's color-coded and the array of bins it's represented on your display. So by using smart glasses to make the job easier for our pickers, we've kind of gained a lot of good benefits. Taking advantage of the voice capability, we're allowing our pickers to be hands-free, so not having to carry a handheld device or even paper. So that's been a lot of good, positive result. But in terms of the benefits, productivity gain, obviously, that's been the huge driver to that. But not only that, reduction in training time, it's much easier to learn how to use or complete a task through using a heads-up display device or smart glasses rather than learning all the controls in a handheld device or looking at a paper to do your task. As well, not just quantifiable, but as you heard on the video, we got a lot of favorable scores for our usability and user satisfaction scores. We have to admit, it is a truly a user preference thing. There are certain people who find it very uncomfortable to use, or some people just don't prefer not to use it. But in most cases, or majority of people that we've tested this solution out with, they all came back with the favorable scores. So that was the recap. So since we've productized vision picking, what else have we been up to? So we've kind of looked at some VR applications that we can quickly take into our portfolio. And the first one is a virtual forklift training. So this is really an off-the-shelf type of standard product where you can buy a forklift simulator. And for us, where we're using that is to train, do the initial training for our new hires before they actually get on the powered equipment. And it gave us two key benefits. One, safety, because these forklifts, if there's an accident, it can cause a serious damage or serious injuries and costly damages. So by using this, it eliminates a lot of that risk. And second of all, it does not disrupt our operations. So we don't have to block off an area to do the training or dedicate a space that's solely used for training, which would not be the most best use of our warehouse space. And also, we don't have to use an off shift hours to the training if we couldn't afford to do either one of those. So that's been very key for us. Where we want to take this or where we want to see this go next is not only using an off-the-shelf standard unit, but what if we can have a unit that is a replica of the actual equipment that we will be using at our sites, and also being able to load the simulated environment of the actual sites or facilities that our associates were working on. So because we have AutoCAD layout for most of the sites that we operate in, if we can quickly turn that into a 3D simulated environment and load it up, I think that could be another added benefit in terms of the forklift training. Another is around safety training. What better way to learn than more of an interactive way of training and engaging our associates? And we found that when people do use VR to go through a training session, they are actually more engaged and more interested, and they actually learn quicker that way. So one of the examples is safety training. So we almost created a game out of it where we upload very typical situations in our warehouse environment and have people kind of look around and identify what are some of the things that could be unsafe or activities that are happening that shouldn't. And we pop them up with the question of, what is wrong in this picture or scenario, and then have them answer, what would be the best practice. So that's been a very effective way to train our associates. But, in other ways, it can really be a very good place to do a more controlled environment training. What I mean by that is if you have hazmat environment where you have to operate in, or you're trying to teach people how to react when there's fire or other dangerous situation, you can go through all that training in a controlled environment before they're really put into that actual scenario. So we think that's going to be a key thing for us to continue doing it. Also, it's very quick and easy to set up these training modules in VR devices. So we thought that was very, very beneficial. Lastly, one of the other things that our company have invested in is creating these innovation centers. What it really is it's a dedicated space where we get to invite our customers to come in and showcase all the latest trends, technologies, and all that other stuff, and be able to approach it in an interactive way. Now, we have 2 sites today, one in Germany and another one in Singapore, and the third one is being constructed right now in Chicago, so I'm personally thrilled that we'll have something closer to home here. But in the meantime, what we've done is we also we are using the VR device to do a virtual tour of those 2 sites, one in Germany and Singapore. So it kind of eliminates the gap of, or that the hurdle of the distance where you don't have to invest in the time and the expenses to get to those places. Now, it won't be exactly the same experience as if you're personally there, but once I tried it on, I think you'll get most of the experience out, which definitely is pretty cool. So other than those three I talked about, we do have a lot of initiatives where we're trying to get more AR and VR application into our organization, and they're all at a varying degree of progress. Some are very infant stage, whereas some are getting pretty close to being able to kind of roll it out. And I just picked out three that I'd like to share with you today. First one is a navigation and locating assistance. So instead of providing some type of textual or numerical information that the operator needs to read and then process how to get to that place to do the work, what if we're able to provide highlighted arrows and boxes to lead and guide the operators to their next work and also to complete the task quicker? So one of the other benefits, other than the fact that it can really speed up the way our associates can work or help them gain productivity, the other thing might be a safety thing, because it allows people to keep their eyes up all the time rather than looking down on paper or handheld devices that they have. So we think that's going to be another added benefit. But I think for us, this is where we think it's going to provide us the most benefit, because if we figure this out or we can really productize it, we have a lot of sites, as I mentioned, that can benefit from exactly this type of use case. The next one is the real-time awareness, really coupling with the concept of Internet of Things. If we're able to link up all the equipment and the people that are working in a warehouse into a single platform, then what if we're able to provide all the people with information on where everybody's working and what equipments are around them at real time. So what I tried to do with the picture there, I'm sorry, it's really small, but two things really. One, on the bottom left corner is really the map of the facility in relation to where you're at. And with that, what if we're able to say, hey, here are the indicators of where all the other associates are working in and where all the equipments are. And on the right-hand side of the picture is, if we detect that there's a forklift kind of moving towards your path of travel, there might be a chance of collision. So it's alerting the operator to either slow down or be mindful so that we can avoid any potential collisions. So that's the second one. And the third one, just a pallet or load building. This one could be seen as a pretty simple concept. It's really kind of playing a 3D Tetris, if you will. But in our industry, maximizing the cube utilization of our shipment is very crucial. So we have all the data usually with the characteristics of our products. But if we can help our operators or loaders to build not only a dense load or pallets, but also a stable one, I think that can also have a lot of benefit. I think the challenge is going to be how do we do that in real time in a dynamic environment, but something that we are kind of exploring at this stage and seeing where that can take us. So I think I'm doing pretty good on time. So, okay, so this is the last slide I put together, and really this is a lot of my self-opinion. So some of them or most of them might be a nonsense, but hopefully at least one of them will trigger some thoughts. But these are some of the things that, as a end user, challenges or shortcomings that we see in the area of AR and VR that we like to kind of see the community grow and solve. First one is comfort. I think that's pretty obvious for everybody. It's especially the case for us or probably people in the manufacturing or other industrial use where we need to use these devices for 8+ hour shifts. So to be able to use it for long periods of time without having a lot of discomfort, I think that's going to be a key thing to think about. Battery life also, I understand that it's really a trade-off between not having the weight on your devices versus having an extra battery pack that's going to be wired to your head device. In an ideal world, we don't want to carry anything extra or have any wires hanging down. As well, keeping your devices light, again, kind of relates to the comfort factor. So hopefully that's an area that we can keep improving on. And lastly, just fit adjustability. This one, obviously, again, a bit of a trade-off. More straps you have might give you more flexibility on how you fit the devices on your head, but then it also gets uncomfortable. But not only just the fitting of the head, if you think about each individual person, I think the distance between their eyes are all different and stuff like that. So the actual hardware itself, is there a way to make sure they're dynamically adjusting to each user? And for us, we're sharing these devices across multiple shifts, and day by day, you might be getting assigned to a different unit. So to us, being able to just quickly fit to the next user is always a key benefit for us. Health and safety, focused adjustability. So my experience with VR type of devices, there is that focused adjusting wheel that you kind of turn, or at least some of them do. But I noticed that even for a single person, it's not that you set it one time and you're good to go. When I'm using these VR type of devices, if I'm trying to look at something that's far away versus something close, I find that I still have to adjust that wheel a little bit to get a better clarity. So if there's a way that the device can maybe detect or kind of see how my pupils are and dynamically adjust to how I'm looking at these simulated environments, I think that could be a key. Awareness also. So again, if a device can detect exactly where I'm looking at, maybe sometimes it needs to fade out the display that's being shown to make sure it's not obstructing anything that I should be looking at in the real world. And vice versa, if I'm not turning my head, but I'm moving my eyes to look at different places, maybe the displayed information can also follow along so that it's staying within the field of vision that I'm looking at. So that maybe it could be another interesting to look at. And last but not least, hygiene. Again, our devices are often shared across multiple people over different shifts. So whether it's a material that the devices are made out of, or just having an easy maintenance care, simply wiping it down, maybe those things are always going to be a crucial benefit for us, I think, in the long term. So that's all I have for today. I think I saved some time for questions, possibly.
Yeah.